Good morning and welcome to Kansas City Oasis. My name is Julie Manning and I will be your hostess and MC for today. I am pleased to welcome those of you here in our community center in the Volker neighborhood and those of you on YouTube for our programming today. Since 2014, Oasis has been the premier secular alternative to faith-based communities. We welcome all, regardless of belief, non-belief, race, gender, sexual orientation, identity, or any other trait. We believe the human experience is better when it is shared, and we are so pleased to have you here with us this morning. These are our Oasis 5 core values. People are more important than beliefs. Reality is known through reason. Human hands solve human problems. Meaning comes from making a difference. Be accepting and be accepted. Today's program is going to be so great. I got to meet all the presenters, and they just seem like they're going to give us a really amazing learning experience today. Our featured speaker is going to be Bryson Ripley of Veterans for Peace on overlapping issues for the anti-war movement. Thank you for being here. Bryson, where'd he go? He's right here, Bryson's. And our musical guest is Dixon, and community moment is going to be Adrian Anderson. I'm going to invite Christian to come up and get ready to play for us. He's got some, yes, please clap, clap. I'm going to read just a little bit about Christian. Christian wants his music to be meaningful, introspective, and authentic. He is unafraid to confront heavy subjects in his work like family trauma, loss, doubt, and a longing to answer the question, what is this all for? He's been releasing new music and drove from northern Missouri, north of St. Joe, by the way, very far away, to share this music with us today. Please give a warm Oasis welcome, Christian Dixon.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for all the folks from KC Oasis who have just graciously, warmly welcomed me this morning. I've got a couple songs that I was very particular in how I curated this, but this first song I want to play for you is one that's very special to me. I've never considered myself a dog person, admittedly. I have a cat at home named Remy. I love him a lot. But when I wrote this song, I realized I have a lot more in common with man's best friend. And so I hope you like it. I see a dog standing out in the yard. I'm sure that he's loved, even though sometimes it's hard. How badly do I wish that I could trade places with him. I'm sure that he has somebody waiting to let him in. Oh, oh, oh. Does he also believe that the affection he receives comes with his conditions, or is that only me? Is loyalty his preference, or is it all that he knows? Is this the life provided, or is it the one I chose? Oh, oh, oh. What a gift it is to feel everything so much. I need a reminder whenever I've lost touch. I wish that things were different, but I know that they will end. And maybe after all of this, the grief is man's best friend. Oh, 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 oh. We both need some space, but please don't leave us alone. We both shy away when we sense a change in tone. Whenever he feels frightened, does he also show his teeth? Now I understand why he tends to dig so deep. Oh, oh, oh. What a gift it is to feel everything so much. I need a reminder whenever I've lost touch.
grief is man's best friend. Oh, 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 oh. Maybe after all of this, the grief is man's best friend. Maybe after all of this, the grief is man's best friend.
Thank you. So growing up, my family was, they did the best they could. My parents care a lot, and I've gotten to learn mom and dad as an adult now. They are now Dan and Becky, and so I've gotten to learn more about their story and what motivates them and what they want to accomplish. And for my dad, he wants to be a provider. He wants to know that his efforts are enough for the people he cares about. So I wrote a song thinking about him and hoping that he knows that I care about him, that he's enough emotionally, financially, all those fun things. The song is called White Collar Savior, and I hope you like it.
You won't talk about your past, and I won't bring it up. You once had a future, but it wasn't close enough. You'll keep me around because I'm none of what you had. It won't feel exciting, but at least you won't feel bad. Scarcity is love, and we've never had enough. We've been proving ourselves all our lives. Makes sense to earn our trust. And I don't want to disappoint you later, but I won't be your white collar savior. We will have to specify which is the better half. 'Cause I'm sad like my mom was, and you're angry like your dad. Our families will ask us when we're gonna have a kid. And when we both fall silent, they will change the conversation. But scarcity is love, and we've never had enough. We've been proving ourselves all our lives. Makes sense to earn our trust. And I don't want to disappoint you later, but I won't be your white collar savior. We'll burn ourselves out until we're going through the motions, dishonest with ourselves until we're looking past the moment. And I can't shake the idea that I'm worth what I provide. The difference is I don't think that you're losing sleep at night. And I don't want to disappoint you later, but I won't be your white collar savior.
Thank you all so much.
I'm probably going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day. My parents and I have some different views as well. So thank you, Christian. That's very insightful. All right. We are going to have more music from Christian later. If you would like to give him a Venmo, little sprinkle, we've also got the thingy somewhere. Jason will make sure that's up here. Thanks, Jason. All right. We got some birthday. Can I hear myself? Am I loud enough? Can you hear me? Okay. Perfect. Thanks. Okay. Michael Grimes is on the 26th. Julie Peck is on the 28th. I thought I saw Julie. Where's Julie? No? Was that a false no? Oh, okay. Josh Kawase is on the 28th. Mary Lou Pick is here on the 29th. Hi, Mary Lou. And Genevieve Nelson on the 29th. So make sure if you see those folks, you say happy birthday. Happy birthday for everybody. Okay. We want to make sure you guys know if you get a promotion at work, if your dog jumped through the hoop and you've been working on that trick for 10 years, all of the fun things in life that we want to celebrate, please let us know because we want to make sure that your community can bring you in for a big emotional high five. So, we also have Memorial Day is coming up. That means the pools are going to be opening soon. I'm so excited. We are going to have a potluck picnic at Mohawk Park in Mission, Kansas. We're trying to mix it up a little bit, make it accessible for everybody. So we're going to meet Sunday the 24th, 11 to 3. We are going to bring a food dish, bring a dessert or drinks to share. The shelter has plenty of picnic area. It's a very, very beautiful shelter. But you can also bring, if you want, lawn chairs, picnic baskets, games, cards, frisbees. I'm hoping we'll have the whole place to ourselves. We'll see. And then bring people, bring our friends, families, newcomers, neighbors, whoever you want to bring. We want this to be a really fun, family-friendly, neighbor-friendly event. So this is Mohawk Park on 67th Street, just east of Lamar in Mission, Kansas. Okay, we also have May 29th from 8 a.m. through May 30th at 6 p.m. We are going camping. I'm really hoping I'm going to be able to go because I was supposed to go out of town and I kind of don't want to now. Make your reservation now if you want to join us for our Oasis camping trip out at Watkins Mills State Park. There's only a few campsites left in the loop that we've reserved, like the whole loop area. More information can be found on their website if you need to know like what to bring, what resources do they have for you. And then Sally Minden is our Oasis contact. Is Sally here today? No. Okay. But if you need Sally's info, let me know and I can find it. Thank you. Yes. We are going to have like some activities planned at specific times. So if you're like, I'm an early riser, I just don't sleep on the ground because ew. We're going to have like hiking at a certain time in the morning. We're going to do afternoon gaming and hot dogs. We're probably going to do campfires and s'mores. So make sure, even if you're not an overnight camper, please, please, please come out for the day because this is just a time for us to hang out and enjoy each other. Less than 2 weeks away. So get your act together, please, and thank you. This is coming up in June. We got Pride tabling with Oasis. We are not doing the parade this year. It's so fun, yes, I know, but it's also a lot of work to plan and organize, and we don't get prize money, and we want to use our money in a really smart way. So we're going to do our tabling. This is a very, very big event for Oasis. Every year brings in a ton of new people to learn about our community. If you are an Oasis regular and you have wonderful things to say about the community, Oasis, our programming, our musicians, whatever it is that you have to share, we want you there, okay? So even if you can only make it for half an hour, I don't care. Just text me, and we will make that work for you. It's going to be a super way to support our queer, non-religious visibility and enjoy Pride. So once you come in and you hang out with me at the table for however long you signed up for, I'll be like, go enjoy the concert. See you later. Send me pictures. Okay? So we want to make sure that we are out and visible. If you have a t-shirt, that's an Oasis t-shirt. If you don't, grab it now. We'll have people at the merch desk later. Very, very big event that we need everybody on board for. And if you are not in the loop on all these things, please make sure you find someone. It could be me. It could be a lot of our people who have those like permanent looking lanyards, we can get you added to our private page on Facebook. If you're not a Facebooker, maybe somebody can text you. I don't know. But that is our main source of information other than our website and our newsletter. We do have all the socials. So we've got YouTube. If you're like, oh my gosh, Christian's music was so amazing, I can't wait to hear it again. I agree. We can watch that again on YouTube later. Same thing with our other presenters. We'll all be on YouTube. We have announcements on Instagram, of course, Facebook, and Blue Sky. I have not entered the Blue Sky phase of my life yet, but Jason knows all about it. Ooh, this is important. Where's David? Here he is. David Krampus, amazing board member.
All right, so we're trying to put that up there so we don't have all of this in the way when people walk in. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Julie knows. This is kind of an expensive endeavor. Our labor is going to be done all in-house. We have some great people, a lot of great people in AV. They work really hard. And all they really want is to improve things, okay? They're just like, I want this to be better. I know these people, that's all they want, and they'll do the labor that it takes to do it. We just need all the parts. We already have the new projector. We just need to get the parts and the materials to get it up there. So you can donate to us. I think we're already somewhat into it. I don't know the numbers on it. I know that, do you know how much we got?
We want more.
We want more? Yes, we want more. So you can, what?
550 from the February chili cook-off.
Okay, 550 from the February chili cook-off. So please donate. You can do it through Venmo. You can go to our website. Is there Venmo link still there for it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Venmo on the table.
Yeah, Venmo on the table. And you could put in there that you want it for the LCD projector or whatever AV. If you donate through, was it Simple Give?
Not
No.
anymore. It's
Nice.
KCOasis.org/donate.
Okay.
So say it again.
KCOasis.org. Yeah, donate. Yeah. So what's our new
What,
Zephy. So if you do it to Zephy, contact Julie Samuel Lambert and let her know that you've donated through Zephy for this project. All right. So help us get that done. Thanks.
Yay, thanks, David. Okay, great. So it's going to be, by the way, this is a free advertisement from myself. We do a lot of things with our screen. We had a fun karaoke party using our projector and our screen. We do Music Mondays where we watch a musical on our screen. We have lots of things that involve our screen and our technology. So this will be a big improvement for all of those things in our Oasis world. Okay, no more talking from me. Let's enjoy a community moment from Adrienne Anderson. As she comes up, perfect, clap, 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 come on up. Distinguishing, descriptors, that's the word, thank you. Qualified, acutely, and antimony, is that?
Antonym?
Antonym? Wow, did I have a stroke? Okay, runs on caffeine and good intentions, results may vary. Antonym, really? Antonymy, that's what it is. Okay, I'm sorry, okay, continue.
Is my microphone okay? Yeah. Okay. I have to admit I got my 3 words from a passphrase generator. So they're random 3 words. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk about some physics demos, a little bit of fun with physics. My first career, I was a high school physics teacher for about 10 years when I got out of grad school. And one of my favorite parts of being a physics teacher was the hands-on aspect. There were some days where, you're missing half the class for a retreat or a sports event. And so we'd just spend the whole 45 minutes let's do demos. And, so that was always one of my favorite days. So I'm going to do just a few demos here because I don't have a lot of time. And usually I wouldn't have given the students a lot of physics background because they would have already covered it. I'll give you guys a little bit of background, but I hope it doesn't feel too much like school for those of you who hated school. but it might feel a little bit like that. So the first one I'm going to do is a candle and the bottle. And hopefully I have everything still. Okay. This is a demo that I recently learned, and I'm not very good at it yet, so hopefully I'll get it on my first try. Okay, that's my first success. So the challenge here, my candle's not straight. Challenge here is I've got the candle with the lit flame, and I put the bottle in between me and the candle, and I'm going to try to blow out the candle with the bottle in front of it, which is the challenging part. I don't know if you guys need to mute me while I'm blowing, just in case, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what was fun is that was a new one I just learned about that this week, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. How does that work? How am I still able to blow out the candle when the bottle's in front of it? So this is an effect called the Coanda effect. I realize now that my print is too small. So Coanda effect is a stream of a fluid. In this case, the fluid is the air, the breath coming out of my mouth. But any stream of fluid tends to follow the curved surface of an object and follow the contours of the object. So you can see the diagram there. That's a top view. I'm the bottle at the bottom. And the air coming out of my mouth is just going around the sides of the bottle and blowing out the candle, which is a bit unexpected. So that's a little bit of an intro that builds on for the next demonstration. Next demonstration is ping pong ball and hairdryer. I'm sure some of you have seen this. Some of you have probably done this in front of classrooms. But ping pong ball, hairdryer. You might have also seen this as beach ball with like a fan at stores or a vacuum that's got its airflow reversed. So the challenge here is I'm going to turn on the hairdryer and try to get the ball to stay in the stream of air. Yeah. What a good audience. Okay, then the question is, how much can I tilt the hairdryer without losing my ping pong ball? So we can try a little bit that way, we can try a little bit that way, we can try a little bit more. All right. That I've always thought is a really fun one to do. Unfortunately, the physics explanation takes a little bit of talking, so I'm going to give you like the high level. There are actually a couple ways to explain this demo, and I'm going to give you one high level version of this. So it also involves this Coanda effect that I just talked about. So when I start tilting the hairdryer, the ping pong ball is here, and the air going over the top of the ball actually follows that curved surface of the ball and gets deflected downward. So that's one half of the explanation, is that the ping pong ball is doing something to the air. It's making it go downwards, deflecting its path. This is a terrible AI-generated image of that happening. But I should also have a short video clip that shows it in real life. This guy has got this apparatus that will actually help you, you'll be able to see the air. He's got a system set up that lets you see what the air is doing. So let's see if this is
dryer. And as I bring the hair dryer closer and closer, you see the flow of air is straight, but when it is close to the object itself, the air gets deflected downward. It follows the contour of the cylindrical object.
Okay, so that is what is happening with the airflow on the ball. So the air is going over the top of the ping pong ball. The question is, how does that explain why the ball doesn't fall? Okay, so to do that, I need to bring in one more principle, which is an often confusing principle for students, and that's Newton's third law. You've probably heard this third law. It's very famous. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yes? Yes. So I crossed that one out because It's nice, it's pithy, but it sometimes confuses students, and I like to say Newton's third law in a different way. Whenever two objects interact with each other, they exert equal and opposite forces on each other. Just to really emphasize the point that every force is two things interacting with each other. It's not like this thing exerts a force on that thing. No, they both affect one another. They both feel the impact of that interaction. Okay, so a good example is two pool balls colliding. So if you imagine this is a time-lapse photo from the top of a pool table, and the person is aiming the cue ball at the red ball, and the red ball is going to go off towards the top of the screen. We all know that the cue ball is not going to just continue unaffected, right? When they collide, they exert forces on each other, which means one of them is affected to go that way, and the cue ball, you better prepared for the fact that it's going to be deflected the other way. Okay, so that is actually what's happening with the ping pong ball and the air. In this case, the two objects interacting are the ping pong ball and the air itself. So, hopefully I have a slide of this. Yeah. So we've got the ping pong ball, the air flowing over the top, and that means the ping pong ball is impacting the air. It's making it feel a force to deflect its path downward. And in return, the air affects the ping pong ball and exerts a force in the other direction that's kind of like a lift force. Okay. How exactly that force happens, the details of it, not important for us right now. But that's the idea, that the deflection of that flow of air exerts a return force on the ping pong ball. And this is the same kind of thing that you can talk about with an airplane wing and the lift generated by the flow of air over an airplane wing to help generate that lift force. So that's enough physics. We'll skip the force diagram. Okay. And then the third one, my last one, is why you guys all hopefully have an index card in front of you. This is an audience participation one, except David, you're excused. So I have always found it fun that the physics that we talk about in the classroom also applies to the human body. And so we're going to talk about a little bit of optics here. How many of you guys have done this before, found your blind spot? Yeah, okay. So here's how it works. So a little bit about your sense of vision. The back of your eyeball, your retina, has all these little light-sensing cells. And if you want to be able to see something in front of you, light from that object has to come in your pupil and hit a light-sensing cell at the back of your eye. Otherwise, you don't see it. So the whole back of the eye has these light-sensing cells, and the cell has this long nerve fiber. You can think of it like an electric cable, kind of, that goes to the brain to tell it, hey, I saw something. And all of those nerve fibers are gathered together at that little point, and that's where they all leave the eye to go to the brain. And that's the optic nerve. And that little area on the back of the eye doesn't have any light-sensing cells. It's just where all the nerve fibers gather together. So if light lands on that particular point, we don't have any way of sensing it. Okay, so here's how you find your blind spot. So you're going to use your right hand. I thought I would save a card for myself, and I forgot to. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you're going to orient your card like this with the X on the left. Okay, you're going to cover your left eye, and then the very important part is with your right eye, you're going to look at the X. It's hard to keep doing it, but you have to keep focusing on the X, okay? And then you move the card forward. Like for me, it's about right here. And at some point, you should notice in your peripheral vision that the red dot disappears. And if you keep moving it in the same direction, it'll reappear. Is that happening? Okay, okay. So when that red dot disappears, you are actually holding it in a position such that, I added a little card at the top, so the X, because you're looking right at it, the light from that is falling along that blue line right at the back of your eye in your center of your field of vision. But at that same moment, the red dot is off to the side, and the light from it is falling right on that blind spot at the back of your eye, and so you don't sense the light coming from that red dot. It's invisible to you. Okay. So yeah, there's a little piece of your field of vision that's just, you can't see anything in there. All the time, this is true. Okay? So you might ask the question, is this dangerous? Am I going to be driving and there's like a pedestrian in my blind spot and I don't see him? Okay. Well, first of all, no, because you have two eyes. Very handy. And they have overlapping fields of vision. So if something is in your blind spot in your right eye, it's not going to be in the blind spot for your left eye. So that is handy. The second thing, though, is I don't know if you guys have a writing utensil, but if you have a writing utensil, try drawing a line through there. Does anybody have anything to write with? I forgot to bring that. Okay, this will be your homework. So take that card, when you do have a pen, draw a line through it, and try the whole experiment again. Okay, and it's really, really interesting. I'm going to spoil the result. But what happens as you move the card back and forth is the line is always there, but the dot still disappears. So that middle of the line, you're not seeing it for real. It's just your brain is like, I know there's a line in that general region, and I'm going to fill it in because I assume that it's continuous. Okay, so your brain extrapolates from the surrounding stuff and kind of fills in what is probably in that area. So that's another reason you don't generally notice your blind spot there. But I've always enjoyed that one. So that's really all I have today. I hope that wasn't too much like school. I hope it was a little bit fun, and thank you.
All right. I personally would like to start a campaign that Adrian teaches us about physics like once a quarter. I think that would be really great. Yeah! See, look at all those people who agree with me. All right. Roger's going to be on top of that. Perfect. Let's see. Ooh, coffee break. So we had an amazing talk about physics. We have amazing music to talk about. We have all these activities to schedule in our planners. So you've got a busy time during coffee. And then I guess if you have extra time, you can get some coffee and donuts. But please say hi to someone new. If you notice someone you haven't seen before, just wiggle on up and introduce yourself. I will see you back here in 20 minutes. We did it. Great job, guys. Happy New Year. Happy new May the 17th. Okay, perfect. We are going to continue on with our programming. What? Are you talking to me? No, it's just Jim being obnoxious. Got it. Christian is going to come play for us again. Christian, while you get all wired for sound over here, tell me a little bit about your journey becoming a musician, singer-songwriter. If you would, of course, please.
I would love to. Thank you. It was not planned. We didn't coordinate this, but I think the song that I picked to play next really leans into this. So from a young age, I felt a lot of things really deeply, and I didn't understand why. And whenever I listened to music, it brought out a lot of those feelings, and it made me feel like, hey, I can actually harness this in something productive. So grew up, my grandparents were pastors, and so I sang in church. I always joke, I think they just handed me an unplugged microphone because I was like 6 years old.
Sure,
and
that sounds
I can't
great.
prove that, but that's what I think it is. But I started listening to a lot of different singer-songwriters all through the years, and really found like, this is what I want to do, but I just didn't believe that why me out of everybody in the world. And so I would write things, but I wouldn't share it. In college, I had some friends who said, hey, this is actually not, like, you should do something with this. You should do poetry, do music. So I taught myself guitar. A couple years went by and I didn't touch it again, but I was going through some counseling, and my counselor told me, have you ever even looked up an open mic? Like, have you ever gone and done the thing that you're scared to do? And I was like, well, no, I haven't. And once I did that, and I was like, this is the most terrifying thing of my life, and I love it, and I want to do more of it. And so the journey has been learning, just because something is difficult doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
Sure.
So as a musician, I've had to also do that. Just because it's difficult to talk about the loss of loved ones, the loss of faith, the loss of dreams, doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. And this song that I'm going to play for you all is one that I released back in January. It's a song called Lost in the Blue, and it's about my experience with borderline personality disorder, with relationships and family and friendships, and feeling ashamed of that for a long time and not knowing why these habits kept returning, and then finally being able to put that into a song. So it is available for you to listen to. If you or someone that you care about deals with anything like borderline personality, bipolar disorder, I hope my dream, my hope is that this resonates. So I hope that you enjoy it. It's called Lost in the Blue.
Well, I've heard it said that you get what you deserve. But I was honest with you about carrying my hurt. Back when you met me, I wasn't swallowed up by all this dread. You didn't have to face the cyclone swirling in my head. And when you met me, it was in the warmer weather. Now I've gone cold, and I hope you're doing better. You needed healing, and I thought that you could free me. I guess that it says more about the unfamiliar real me. It wasn't fair to hope that I would find myself in you, 'cause all I did was get lost in the blue. Yeah, all I did was get lost in the blue. The cycle's repeating, it's not an enviable thing. I'm good at first impressions, followed by a vile swing. Lost in it later, wondering where it all went south. You're safe from the apologies all tumbling out my mouth. wish you could free me. I guess that it says more about the unfamiliar real me. It wasn't fair to hope that I would find myself in you, 'cause all I did was get lost in the blue. Yeah, all I did was get lost in the blue. So goodbye to all my summer dreaming, and goodbye to everything I've built, and hello to changing of the seasons. It's sad to say I died upon that hill. Wasn't fair to hope that I would find myself in you, 'cause all I did was get lost in the blue. Yeah, all I did was get lost in the blue.
Thank you all.
Okay, can we all just agree that Christian has a really great voice too? Yeah. I am so glad that you follow the advice of those college friends who told you to pursue your journey, and that counselor who told you to take a stab at open mic night. I do happen to know Christian's going to open mic afternoon at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so we're his warm-up gig. And I know you'll do great later. Next time you sing, before I forget, you're going to have to tell us about all the next gigs, because I always forget. But coming up, we have our featured speaker. Our program is designed to generate conversation and engage our powers of reason, not as a forum to start debates. The following presentation has been prepared by our speaker and not by KC Oasis. Please respect the views of our speaker, and if you have any questions, a Q&A portion will follow as time permits. This is Bryson Ripley going to be coming up and sharing for us today. Bryson is with the Veterans for Peace and is an organization of military veterans and allies dedicated to building a culture of peace, exposing the true costs of war, and advocating for justice at home and abroad. Please give a warm Oasis welcome to Bryson Ripley.
Thank you. All right, thank you everyone for having me. First time wearing such cool tech, so forgive me if I need to get used to it a little bit. But yes, I'm Bryson Ripley. I'm a member of Veterans for Peace Kansas City, and I'm here to present a veteran perspective, right? I'm a sociology major right now. Sociology is all about perspectives, looking through lenses, so that's what I like to do, look through the veteran perspective at the issues of our world today. Obviously there was already a great warning before, but I'd also like to give a warning. I'm not an expert. While I am going to college using my veteran benefits right now, that doesn't mean that I'm extremely knowledgeable. A lot of this is just experience, firsthand seeing things, and you may disagree, and that's totally fine. I'd love to talk about it. And I might talk about some things that might be a little upsetting, a little emotional. That's kind of like what war is. So, obviously, I was in the Marines 2014 to 2019 in the Marine Corps as a corrections specialist. I always like to say it's not the job I wanted. It was the job that my recruiter lied me into. And you talk to veterans on across the entire political spectrum. That's usually a running thing. Recruiters, they don't always like telling you the truth, but that picture on the left there is me right out of boot camp, freshly indoctrinated, still at attention, standing next to my father, and then the next one is one of the Marine Corps balls I went to, probably about halfway through my service. But yeah, I was in the military. There's the proof. So I was in Veterans for Peace, or I am in Veterans for Peace, I should say. What is Veterans for Peace? Well, we're a national and international organization, a nonprofit membership organization founded in 1985. It was kind of, it started after the Vietnam War, after all the protests that were going on there, there was a lot of Veterans for Peace in Vietnam. So this is kind of a natural progression after that. But mainly it is military veterans across the world, mainly in the U.S. though. But there are, membership is allowed for people that are associated, or maybe you're just interested in helping with the particular causes. So we're really open to everyone, but mainly veterans, because that's what it's all about. And contrary to what some think, we're not all hippies. There's a lot of educated people in Veterans for Peace, people dedicated to particular causes, the climate crisis, different aspects of militarism. And really, we're just an organization of education. We like educating people about our particular topics that we're very experienced in. So here's our statement of purpose. We like to read this before every meeting we have. It kind of grounds us in what we're there to do. And really, the statement of purpose is what our overlapping issues are. So society also obviously has a lot of different social problems that different people are trying to tackle. But it is my perspective and the perspective of many people in Veterans for Peace, which I should say I'm not necessarily speaking for. We see being anti-war as the main thing, because so many other issues could easily be solved if we were not spending the kind of money we were on war. So, one, to increase the public awareness of the causes and costs of war, to restrain our governments from intervening overtly and covertly in the eternal affairs of other nations. A lot happens that we don't actually get told as American citizens, as United States citizens. 3, to resist racism and repression in our home communities. To oppose the militarization of law enforcement. To end the arms race and to reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons, although I'm trying to get them to change the eventually eliminate, because I think it really should be, we need to get rid of nuclear weapons. 6, to seek justice for veterans and victims of war. To abolish war as an instrument of national policy, and to promote a sustainable and peaceful world. So that's what we're really about in Veterans for Peace, especially Veterans for Peace Kansas City here. And then we use nonviolent means to do that. We're Veterans for Peace. We don't want to see more people get hurt. So in veteran organizing, in organizing in general, there's usually going to be people that you look up to. I really like using the term patron saints of organizing, which I learned from another veteran group I was in called Common Defense. But Howard Zinn is one of the main individuals we like looking up to. Not a lot of people know he was a World War II veteran. Anyone familiar with People's History of the United States? Amazing. It's an amazing book. We really love it because it's not just presenting a history from the ruling class perspective, but of the people, the actual movements that drive that societal change. So Howard Zinn served in World War II as a bombardier, and a lot of his anti-war perspective was influenced by being a bombardier, dropping weapons and munitions over Europe and seeing the devastation that happened. There's a few pictures of him. Obviously, before the war, looks super happy. Middle of the war, doesn't look like it's going so well, but that's how it goes. And a few quotes from Zinn that I absolutely love. There's no flag enough to cover the shame of killing innocent people. He was very passionate about getting people to think about nationalism. What does it mean? What is healthy nationalism? What is unhealthy nationalism? Historically, the most terrible things, war, genocide, slavery, have not resulted from disobedience, but from obedience. So another big thing, he came out of World War II, so he saw what obedience does to a society, what just following people blindly does to a society. So he wrote a lot about that. And then probably one of my all-time favorite quotes, you can't be neutral on a moving train. Our society is moving, humanity is moving, and we're all on the train, right? And if you're not doing anything, then that is still being okay with the things that are happening. So I always use that to kind of drive people to be interested in helping their community and helping society. But the next person, anyone familiar with this guy? Anyone? So this is Major General Smedley Butler. He joined the military at the age of 16 after the USS Maine was blown up. A lot of controversy about how that ship was blown up, but he joined, spent almost his entire life, worked his way all the way up to Major General, and was in many different campaigns. He is probably most famous for having been awarded 2 Medals of Honor. Not a feat that has happened very often in our country's history. He also is famous for stopping a fascist coup in the 1930s called the Business Plot. But we really like him in Veterans for Peace because he wrote this book called War's a Racket. And it's all about how he joined the military thinking one thing, but got out understanding, having a complete perspective on what our military is, what it does, and who is using it for what. So it starts out as War's a Racket. It always has been. It's probably the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It's the only one international in scope. It's the only one in which profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to the majority of the people. Only a small inside group knows what it's about. It's conducted for the benefit of the few, the expense of the very many. And out of war, a few people make huge fortunes. So that's really the basis of our perspective in veteran anti-war organizing. We understand that war is only happening because particular people, particular systems, particular industries are driving us to do these things. And as soon as we have a full understanding of how those things operate, we can actually end war. So, like Smedley Butler says, what is it all about? It's about money, power. I basically already covered this. It's making certain people filthy rich. It's a part of this military-industrial complex, these systems designed to keep things running, to make money. And while we're suffering, that military-industrial complex, along with the corporations that inhabit it, are fueling that cycle of war. So it's not about national security. It's more so about empire security. It's about protecting the bottom line. And how do we know we're the empire, right? We like to think, we're very in-group, out-group, psychology-wise, and we like to think that, the U.S., we're doing all these amazing things around the world. But from our perspective in anti-war organizing, we're the empire. So how do we know we're that empire? And I like to look back in history, right? Look at all the other empires that have existed through our history as a species. This is the height of the Roman Empire, the height of their military strength. And this is where all the military bases were, right? So you want to get a good sense of what the empire is and where it is, where the tendrils are. Look at where their military bases are. So where are all the military bases today? Well, the U.S. has got 861, give or take, in 95 countries, give or take, always fluctuating because we're always creating new ones. Sometimes we're getting rid of them. Sometimes they're getting blown up. Like recently, some military bases might not be existing anymore. And then, of course, the previous reigning champ of colonial imperial resource extraction across the world, the UK, Britain. They still have about 118 in 38 different countries. Turkey, 131. We talk a lot about China and how they're this imperialist country doing the same things that most other countries are doing, but they've got about 6 bases in 6 different countries. Doesn't seem as intense of a threat as you might think. Some other different countries. And I was really surprised about Japan. Knowing their history, I was surprised that there wasn't more with them. So, overlapping issues. We talked about the different parts of the statement of purpose in Veterans for Peace. One of them, obviously, to abolish war as an instrument of national policy. So here's a great picture as of about 2020, where all of our U.S. military bases were we're all over the world. We have more than any other country, most countries combined. And what's the purpose? Why do we have these everywhere? Right? So, we're the empire. We got to continue the existence of our empire, continue the power and privilege that's being given to particular people. So how else do you do that other than have a bigger stick than everyone else, right? Everyone's going to fall in line when you're the one holding the weapons. So obviously, nuclear weapons is an issue that a lot of people are worried about. We had a whole Cold War where we were threatened for multiple decades. It's still an issue now. And this is not just U.S. nuclear weapons, but nuclear weapons across the entire planet. And you can see these little black areas here. These are areas where nuclear submarines are positioned so that they can be on the ready and fire nuclear weapons at any moment. And fun fact, the DOE's actually, traditionally we've made about 10 to 20 plutonium pits for new nuclear weapons every year, but the DOE is trying to change that and up it to 100 new plutonium pits a year to create an entirely new arsenal of nuclear weapons. And of course, we don't need new nuclear weapons because the ones we have are fine. Plutonium pits do not go bad. They actually last hundreds of years. And we don't need to worry about them. But this is an issue that we're not going to get rid of until war and why the war is happening is addressed. Anyone worried about climate change? Anyone? Show of hands. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Climate change is absolutely terrifying, especially as a 33-year-old. I'd like to live as long as I can, but it doesn't look like it's going to be so great to me if we can't get this climate change thing figured out. And how are we going to figure out climate change if we don't tackle the biggest polluters on our planet? Well, the U.S. military is probably the largest polluter on our planet, not just of greenhouse gases, but of forever chemicals, of minerals, that are toxic to people and to the earth, radioactive components of different weaponry are affecting the places that we're conducting military operations in. A great example is in Iraq, Afghanistan. Titanium was a part of particular weapons, and studies have been done where the population, the children that are growing up in those areas now, those same minerals and chemicals are in their bodies from when we conducted those wars 20, 30 years ago. And those same chemicals that are in those people growing up in those areas are in the veterans coming home to us. So veterans, we're connected in that way. But climate change isn't going to go away unless you figure out why we're going to war and fix that in the first place, right? It's just mind-boggling. I can't bring up enough the different components of climate change and how our military is affecting that. And obviously, we're really out there protecting oil companies. That's usually where I get the most looks when I start talking about corporations. But we're protecting that racket, and like Smedley Butler said, he was a muscle for the mafia, and that's what our military is doing right now. We're a muscle for these corporations that are trying to protect those foreign markets that we make so much money. Well, we don't, but those corporations, those oligarchs, those billionaires. They're making a lot of money off that. So. And of course, anyone familiar with the recent news about the jet fuel? Well, the past few months, the U.S. military has kept this on the hush, but we leaked 32,000 gallons of jet fuel into a river and just didn't tell anyone for 2 months, right? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. The things that our government does not want us to know about how we're just obliterating our Earth is just, to me, deeply depressing. So it would be good to take some time on your own and just look at. There's a documentary called Earth's Greatest Enemy that I would definitely recommend watching. You should be able to find it online for free. But it is all about all of the military bases that are currently polluting our planet, all the ways our different weaponry pollutes. So definitely check that out. To oppose the militarization of law enforcement. Well, anyone familiar with that frog there? I know a few people might. I just like pointing out the fact that, we've got our police uniform here, and then we've got someone wearing Marine Corps issue MARPAT uniforms, right? Very interesting. High speed, low drag helmets that usually the operators, Navy SEALs are wearing. We've got weaponry, well, not weapon, this isn't particularly a weapon. We've got machinery, we've got tools that are being sold from our military, because what do we do after we produce all these machines? Well, we got to get rid of them somehow. Why not just sell them to the police? So why is this bad? Why is the militarization of the police bad? I mean, they're here to protect us, right? Oh, that's the laser button. Well, the next slide might be a little emotional, so I just wanted to preface it with just a statement about that. I apologize if it sparks any particular emotion, but this is why the militarization of the police is bad. This is Alex Preddy, VA nurse, someone who was taking care of veterans, conducting his First Amendment, conducting many different rights that we are supposed to have as United States citizens. And he's confronting two law enforcement officers, right? Well, we've got military issue beanies, the same color that Marines are issued, probably actual previous military equipment. We've got these flak jackets, not very well put together. Not actually. I always like seeing when police aren't using military equipment correctly, but not really put on correctly. It's the same color that's issued by the Marines. We've got a drop pouch, which is supposed to be used for dropping your used magazines into. So why do they have that? And of course the masks, that's a whole other conversation that I don't think I'll get into right now. But I'm a psychology and sociology major right now, and I love talking about psychology. What does this do to their brains wearing military equipment? What is their mindset going into communities when they're wearing nothing but military equipment and masks, right? It may not be them doing that on purpose, but I guarantee the people that are making the decisions in positions of power within the power elite, that they are thinking about these things, like the psychological aspect of militarizing the police and sending them into our communities. So that's what I think about when I see police using these things. It's disgusting. They shouldn't be using these things. And that's why us in Veterans for Peace are against the militarization of the police. Anyone familiar with the Stanford prison experiment? If you want to get more into the psychology of authority dynamics, definitely check that out. You'll probably learn about it in any intro to psych course. Just to bring it down a little bit I feel like the last one's a bit emotion charged. We've got our Save Our VA program. This is very near and dear to veterans because we're told that we're going to be taken care of, and that as long as we join and we serve honorably, we won't have to worry about anything. If we get hurt, we're going to be taken care of. Well, that's not what we're seeing. Veterans health care is under attack. It's been under attack for a very long time, and that's because of privatization. Is anyone familiar with who started privatization, who kind of first coined that term? It wasn't in our language, I will say. It was actually in German. But privatization is this process where public goods are sold off to private entities, not necessarily because it's more efficient or better, but because usually it's like a thank you to the people that are helping the people in power, the corporations that are helping the people in power. So the VA is going through this process. A good example here in Kansas City is there's a record-keeping system that was publicly produced by our government, by workers within the government. It was working just fine. There was no issues with it. But for some reason, some people decided, well, what if we actually had a private record-keeping situation, and we just sold that off to this private corporation, Cerner, and they produced their own record-keeping system that we could use. Well, that's what's going on within the Kansas City VA right now, and several other VAs. And it's actually making our healthcare worse. And from what I've been told by the people working in the VA, they don't like it. So all of these factors are converging into making our healthcare system worse, so that there is justification to say, well, look, the healthcare is bad, the veterans aren't getting the healthcare they need, and that's because it's the government. The government is causing these problems, so how do we fix that? We sell it off to these private entities, and they'll just do it better. But in reality, they're making a killing, and taxpayers are paying way more than they actually need to. So I won't get too much more into that. But and then just a few other issues that are under that umbrella of anti-war. Here's a few of the different working groups that Veterans for Peace nationally has created. Drones, obviously, we want to get rid of that because anytime you're making the murder, the unaliving of people easier, the easier it is to use those tools the easier it is for ruling class actors to gain the majority of control of those tools to use. So traditionally, war has always been fought where citizens of a country go and they do their thing, and if something bad is happening, there's a chance for the citizens to say, actually, we don't want that. Well, by adding AI into these systems, having drones where literally anyone could be flying, and literally like your kid could fly these drones, it's producing these situations where authoritarian actors can then just blow things up whenever they want, right? I don't know if anyone's familiar with that situation, but there were some boats that supposedly had drug traffickers, and our military just blew them up. Well, what happened to due process? What if those people were being forced to be in that situation? What if their families were being held hostage and they had nothing to do that, if they even were drug traffickers? So drones and AI in military is extremely dangerous, and that's why we're opposing that. Going back to the climate issue, I spoke about certain weaponry having particular chemicals. We have uranium ammunition. Uranium is a very dense substance, and it gets through armor easier. So, of course, what do? You put it in a bullet, you shoot it at things, but then that uranium is in that spot forever unless you clean it up. And I just added that picture there of you can go online and buy a fake version of this ammunition because, maybe I don't get into that anymore. But other working groups we have, homeless veterans. Why are there homeless veterans? Do we have the money to take care of them? Yes, we do, but we're spending that all on war. Nuclear abolition, well, we don't need nuclear weapons if we're not having war. A China working group, that's just to improve relations. We got a book club. Democracy and peace. We're trying to, it's just surprising me. It's surprising to me that now there are people that aren't actually into democracy. We have a labor working group. We're very adamant about workers being able to withhold labor if something bad is going on. So, if your factory is producing weapons that are killing people that shouldn't be getting killed overseas, they should be able to withhold that labor and say, no, we're not going to produce these things, and not get fired because of it. So, and then, of course, the Conscientious Resistance Working Group is all about working with active duty to educate them about what's going on in the world and why they have, or the fact that they have the option to back out, conscientiously object if they choose to. So why be anti-war first? Well, every issue, whatever issue you care about, homelessness, the climate, being able to afford food and medical for your children and family, which is supposed to be there, so I don't know why that got cut out. That all comes down to where we're putting our resources, where we're putting our money, and the majority of our money in our country is going to war, national security. Is it national security? No. It's all about protecting our empire. So next time you're at the pump and you see those gas prices, think about why, right? Why is it just that we're just going into a small little conflict that is protecting our country in some way, or is it? Sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. Part of being a veteran is your brain is kind of messed up sometimes, so it kind of happens. But gas is an essential part of reproducing life in our country, and it goes into everything. And if we're producing wars that make gas prices go up, it affects everything. It affects what's going into that thing right there. So that affects how much food is being produced. It affects how that food can transited around our country. So everything is really just falling under that umbrella of anti-war, at least to veterans in the anti-war movement. So what all these wars, military conflicts, which is really just doublespeak, what's it all about? It's about protecting that racket. It's about empire security. It's about ensuring that corporations and oligarchs, the power elite within our military institutions and governmental institutions, it's ensuring that their power, their positions are not going to be affected. That's what it's all about. So thank you so much. I'd love to take a few questions.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. We are going to have some questions. Jason's going to tell me when to cut it off. Sydney is going to be first.
Hi. Also, thank you for your service. I have a question. So my father enlisted when he was 18. This was 2 years after the draft ended for Vietnam. And part of his motivation for enlisting was he was just a young, poor inner city kid. That's kind of like your outlet if you want any kind of opportunity in life. So my question is what are the Veterans for Peace doing to kind of stop that mindset at the start? Maybe be like, hey, this isn't your only option, for people who feel like are fed that narrative of, oh, if you go, you do the thing, you get discharged honorably, you'll be taken care of, and that's clearly not the case. So are you guys doing anything to kind of combat that at the front side, almost kind of like an opposition to a recruitment?
Yes, thank you for that question. We do try and work as much as possible with youth to educate them on their options. We've had programs where we go into schools to educate the kids, usually in high school, about what their options are. And even if they're still really dead set on the military, we don't say not join, at least just be educated before you go in. And obviously, I'd much rather have a spectrum of people in the military rather than just fascists. Mainly we work in providing educational resources. We give out pamphlets, and then we do kind of school programs, things like that, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got one more question over here. Lots of questions today.
So are you saying, you were implying the Nazis were into privatization?
They coined the term, I can't speak German, so I don't know how they said it. The term privatization was kind of translated in some academic work in the 60s. But they were the first ones to, not necessarily the first ones, but part of their power grab strategy was to pay off the people that helped them get there. A great book I would recommend is Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti. And it kind of goes into how fascism wasn't just about, wasn't just about particular things, but behind the scenes, it was really about being anti-leftist. So after they got into power, they sold off all of the public infrastructure, the public goods, like if there was a factory producing cars or radios for the public that was government run, they would just say, well, for a penny on the dollar, we're going to sell this to this private person, this private individual, so that they can run it. So it wasn't necessarily making anything better. It was more of just a way to pay off the people that helped them get to where they go. And our country has a long history of doing the exact same thing. We're still doing it now. So.
Can you hear me? Okay. My question is, where does Veterans for Peace, what areas do you find, or even just suspect you get the most pushback from big oil?
From big oil? I wouldn't necessarily say our organization has gotten pushback as a whole. Going out and tabling and organizing in the community and talking to people, I think the biggest thing is fighting the individual propaganda, the people that have been propagandized to believe particular things about the oil industry and oil in general. So I would probably say that's our biggest wall. Not that we can't handle it. We understand. We research these things and know that the behind-the-scenes things of why they're pushing this propaganda about oil. But it's usually going into a community or into a place, and a particular person, not necessarily a company or someone in the company, but that person is like, well, I watched Oil Man, or what's the thing? I don't know. Our country has a very, very long history of oil-specific propaganda. And that's really because the oil companies have had such a long history of controlling our country. And Smedley Butler talks about it. He talks about how he was a part of that protection racket for big oil, specifically in his book, War is a Racket. So,
This is our last question.
Are they still having to clean up the massive mess of landmines and chemical crap in Vietnam?
Yes. So we do have a Vietnam-specific working group that goes and helps with not necessarily cleanup, but just like international relations with that. I'm not sure our government has helped clean up any of those things. I don't think our government has helped clean up any of the mess it's made around the world. It's not even cleaning up the mess that it's making in our own country. In fact, it is continuing to make a mess everywhere. And instead of putting money into cleaning those things up, we're putting all that money into making more war, into new weaponry, into new things. I think the majority of that cleanup has been done by international, nonprofit organizations, and then specifically the Vietnam government, the Vietnamese government. So, but I'm not completely knowledgeable, so I can't say for sure.
How dare you not know everything? Okay, great. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you once again. Let me give you that. All righty. Amazing, amazing learning opportunities. For those of you who are aware, I was in the Navy. I am also a veteran I was a nurse. I'm still a nurse. I just wore a different outfit. Oh, yeah. But I get really great care from the VA, so I'm super hoping that stays the case, because I need it. All right, I just started passing the basket. I made new cards, guys, okay? They're numbered, they're bigger. Hopefully you don't stick them in your pocket and then be like, oh no, laundry. So when you're done, if you want to put them in those little purple things, you can bend them, I don't care. They're numbered if I have extras. There's 21, way more than 21 of you, right? So if everybody picks one little baby task, easy, easy, easy. Okay, so help us out with that. If you guys need supplies for cleaning, everything is in the white cabinet there. I know someone sent a message saying they needed a Swiffer, and I will take care of that. So yes, we have all those things available. And if you're like, man, this was amazing, we have a fantastic musician, amazing featured speaker, we need money to pay them for their time. So please, if you're not a recurring volunteer donor, please consider donating kcoasis.org/donate. You can get signed up here on our Zephy for recurring payments. You can tweak it whenever you need to. 1 month you can give us $1,000, the next month you can give us $1. It's flexible, okay? But hey, I know a lot of us got our tax returns. You can just boop right into Oasis. All right, Christian is going to come up and play us one more song. I remembered, Christian. So tell us, you've got stuff going on with Russ. What else we got going on in the world that we can come and lovingly stalk you?
I made notes. I was going to forget.
Oh, yeah. See, we're on track. We're on track.
We are on track. Again, thank you all so much for your attention today and just the support you've shown. It really means a lot to me. You can find me every Monday night. I go to the Rhino in North Kansas City for the Song Lab. It's a great way to hear a lot of local musicians get to hone their craft, and it's all local. It's all just a great time. I do have a show May 31st with Lavender Studios. It's a fun little intimate kind of chance to share art and share stories and just share some love. If you love pizza like I do, Friday, June 5th, I will be performing at Buffalo State Pizza in the Crossroads.
Heck yeah.
I will, and if you do follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I try to post updates on announcements for shows. In July and August, I have quite a bit of availability. So if you would ever be interested in performing or in hosting a house concert, if you have friends or family or peers that you think would enjoy local music, I'd be happy to coordinate with you and do something like that. Just message me on Facebook or Instagram. I've also learned if you Venmo somebody and say, hey, check your messages, they will respond. So that is something I do.
Hey,
I have learned a little
go.
life hack for you.
Send him $4 for coffee if you want.
Or
to
$1. Yeah, just say, hey, check your DMs, and I'll look at it. I'm going to do a different song. I had a different song prepared today, but I think we all need to be reminded that there's still beauty in this world, and it's what makes the world turn. And I felt compelled to say before I go that you are the good that you choose despite the bad in the world. And I hope that this last song sends you off with a little bit of a reminder of that beauty. It's a song called The Rotation of the Earth, and I hope you enjoy it.
She shines like silver, and I burn like sulfur. I count the seconds until I can hold her. I'll wait for her even after the sun turns colder. She's the horizon where I will arrive. I want to rest at the home in her eyes. Every departure's another familiar demise. She is the rotation of the earth itself. She is the return of all the love I've ever held. And even if we're closer to the end than to the start, it would take an army to keep both of us apart. Bearing my soul to her used to be harder. For the first time I can take off my armor. I'll bury my sword in anything that could harm her. She calls my name like a gentle reminder. I look for her, I don't know where to find her. And suddenly I see her everywhere I turn. She is the rotation of the earth itself. She is the return of all the love I've ever held. And even if we're closer to the end than to the start, it would take an army to keep both of us apart. She is the whispering up in the trees. I am the ground broken up underneath. Whenever I die, I'll still hear her harmony.
Thank you all so much.
Excellent, excellent. Let's give one giant round of applause again for Christian. Thank you so much for coming. I was trying to talk Christian into coming to Tanner's for lunch with us today. So if you guys are interested and available to join the conversation after, we always like to get together, just share a meal, and talk about some of those things. We can talk about where did some of these cool inspirations for Christian's music come from? How do we all feel about some of the political climate changes coming? Not just climate, but political climate, you know. So Tanner's will be at 3900 Rainbow Boulevard. If you know where KU Med School is, it's right across the street from there. And please be sure to join us next week, Sunday gathering on May 31st. We're going to have our featured speaker is Stuart Hines talking about building a history, the gay and lesbian archive in mid-America. That sounds very interesting. And 2 weeks, thank you. I read the notes in the wrong order. Musical guest is going to be Erica McKinsey. So that's 2 weeks, the 31st. Math ain't mathin' if that was next week, right? So next Sunday, do not show up here. The doors will be locked. You'll be by yourself. We are going to be at our potluck picnic at Mohawk Park. So bring that TikTok recipe you've been waiting for. I've got some in my brain. And then we will have Stuart Hines and Erica on the 31st. Please help keep our area clean. You guys got all your little cards, but also just pick up. That's why I bring a tote, because I'm so messy. Sarah wanted me to remind you, where's Sarah? June 1st, we're doing tabling for something. The Pride? I don't know. It was a text. But we need people to sign up for that. So I will make sure we're going to put that message out on our Facebook private page, and then we'll add it here next week, too, to make sure that we got the QR code so you can sign up to help with that. And that's all I got, guys. Love ya. See you next time.